أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum dear students. I hope all of you will be doing fine and enjoying good health. So in the continuity of our previous discussion about Chinese diplomatic discourse, we will continue with the ongoing discussion about the Chinese diplomatic discourse and the various aspects which we have been discussing about recently. So in the last lecture, we talked about the one of the main discourses of China, that is the security discourse. And further in that security discourse, we discussed about the Chinese the two main themes which are emphasized by Chinese government in order to protect the security concerns which they have through employing uh, the diplomatic tools, the softer tools of diplomacy, in fact. So in our today's and then we will talk about the new security concept, the concept of new security which has been put forward by the Chinese leadership. So in our today's lecture we will talk about the like the linguistic strategies which are being employed by different countries around the world in order to proceed with their diplomatic discourse objectives. And in our today's discussion we will talk about the employment of some of the linguistic strategies which are being utilized by the Chinese government, and which has been dominantly used by different researchers and scholars around the world in order to discuss the diplomatic discourses of different countries around the world. So there are basically, so we will without wasting further time, we will start with this very discussion. So first of all, we will talk about the strategies which are being used to construct meaning in Chinese diplomatic discourse. So there are predominantly two key linguistic strategies to construct a distinct sense of Chinese identity in the global political circles. That means Chinese use or we can say that we can utilize two linguistic strategies to understand or to construct the specific sense of Chinese identity in the international politics. And these two strategies are on record politeness strategy and off record politeness strategies. So basically these are the two strategies, linguistic strategies, which are being utilized by different researchers around the world. And we will try to utilize these two strategies in order to construct the meaning of Chinese identity in the international politics or international political circles. So one by one we will try to define these two strategies linguistic strategies, and then we will take the example from the discourses of Chinese leadership, like all the statements made by the Chinese President Xi Jinping to evaluate two strategies, to get to know about the usage of these two strategies in the Chinese diplomatic discourse. So in our today's lecture, we will try to cover the on-record politeness strategies, and if we will have some extra time, then we will try to talk about the off-record politeness strategy in detail as well. Okay, I have been informed also through different sources that some of you might have issues as far as the understanding of the lecture is concerned, because I most of the time deliver my lecture in English, so I would try to uh, I'll try to be bilingual in my today's lecture as well. So I'll try my best to explain things in both the languages to all of you. तो हमने बात की कि दो तरह की लिंग्विस्टिक स्ट्रेटजीज़ हैं जो यूज़ की जाती हैं, जो स्टडीज़ को एक्सप्लोर करने के लिए अबाउट जो डिप्लोमेटिक डिस्कोर्सेस के ऊपर जितनी भी रिसर्च हो रही है, उसमें जो डिफरेंट डिस्कोर्सेस कंस्ट्रक्शन होती हैं डिफरेंट कंट्रीज़ की तरफ से, उनको एनालाइज करने के लिए दो तरह की जो लिंग्विस्टिक थेरीज़ यूज़ की जाती हैं, उसकी हम आज बात करेंगे. दीज टू स्ट्रेटजीज़ आर ऑन record politeness strategy and off record politeness strategy. सो पहले हम जो है ऑन record politeness strategy की बात करेंगे. सो the very strategy has been defined by Brown and Levinson in the following words as: it is a strategy that involves behaviors that are intended to express friendliness and respect. So ये ऐसी एक स्ट्रेटजी होती है, एक टेक्निक होती है, जिसमें जो बिहेवियर्स को डिस्कस किया जाता है, जिनका मकसद जो होता है कि उनके थ्रू फ्रेंडलीनेस और रिस्पेक्ट की फीलिंग जो है उनको इंस्पायर किया जाता है दूसरे पार्टी के अंदर. सो that is the very brief definition of on record politeness strategy, and now we will try to discover the use of this very strategy in the speeches or in the diplomatic discourses of the Chinese leadership. So we will try to analyze the speeches made by Xi Jinping, and then we will try to figure out the use of this very strategy from the speeches of President Xi Jinping. जब हम प्रेसिडेंट शी जिनपिंग की स्पीचेस को एनालाइज करते हैं, देन वी विल कम टू नो अबाउट द 4 डिस्टिंक्ट फॉर्म्स ऑफ दिस of the very use of the on record politeness strategy. The first distinct form is showing modesty. The second one is to make promises. The third one is to express interest or concern, and lastly to use slogans. So these are the 4 distinct forms which can be found in repeatedly in the speeches of the President Xi Jinping, and we will also like take few examples to uh, explain all these of the usage of all these distinct forms by President Xi Jinping. So सबसे पहले हम अब बात करेंगे ऑन रिकॉर्ड पोलाइटनेस स्ट्रेटजी में जो चार तरह के डिस्टिंक्ट फॉर्म्स जो शी जिनपिंग ने यूज़ की हैं उनमें सबसे पहले हम बात करेंगे showing modesty. You are all of you would be quite familiar with the word modest, and in the international politics it means like we can infer from the very word that states in the international worlds try to behave sometimes in a moderate way. They do not try to project themselves as the aggressor or the low profile states. Rather, they try to be moderate in their relationships with the other states around the world. So in that very context, we will try to analyze this element of modesty. So first of all, how it is achieved, it is a very significant question. So we will try to analyze this very question, that how it is achieved first. So there are two ways to achieve modesty. The first one is by using words that lower the status of one's own country, but that are not meant merely to flatter. सो पहला जो तरीका है उसमें जो एक स्टेट होती है वो अपनी कंट्री को जो उसका जो हम जो कहते हैं जो स्ट्रेंथ होती है उसको मॉडरेट वे में उसको लोअर किया जाता है, ताकि और इसका मतलब सिर्फ फ्लैटरी करना नहीं होता किसी दूसरी स्टेट की। तो इसमें इसकी एग्ज़ाम्पल वी कैन टेक द एग्ज़ाम्पल ऑफ चाइनाज़ फॉरेन पॉलिसी विच हैज़ बीन फॉलोड बाय मैनी years before Xi Jinping, even in the earlier era of Xi Jinping, that to be a low profile country. Chinese leadership जो है वो they were quite aware of the fact that in order to continue with their economic development, they need a peaceful environment. That means like in order to continue making economic development or development in both economic and military spheres, it was in the best interest, it is in the best interest of China to avoid conflict with the states around the world and not to change the status quo, or not to make changes in the existing international structure of the world, which is being developed by the West, and particularly the United States of America. So चाइना जो है उसने कई साल तक इनकी जो फॉरेन पॉलिसी का एक मेन फोकस था वो ये था टू बी अ लो प्रोफाइल कंट्री, नॉट टू एक्सप्रेस, नॉट टू प्रोजेक्ट themselves as one of the major powers of the world, so that they can continue making their development. So that is the one of the examples we can take into consideration while explaining how the modesty is achieved. And another example is China is the world's largest developing nation. अच्छा, इसमें यहाँ पे एक और बात जो आई वुड लाइक टू डिस्कस, लाइक एंड the the key objective here is to like strike the balance between assertiveness and modesty. So that is another very significant element when we talk about achieving modesty by using words that lower the status of one's own country, but that are not only meant to flatter. So the second uh, way, or the second mean through which the modesty can be achieved, is by utilizing mid-level words to refer to his country's capabilities and achievements. So in this way, like the moderate, we can say that moderate words are used, not very like gigantic words are used to refer to countries' capabilities and achievements. So the mid-level words are usually used to express the country's power or the achievements made by a particular country. इसके कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आपको मैं यहाँ पे एक एग्जांपल दूंगी, जो दूंगा, जो हमने डिस्कस की थी जो डेवलपमेंट डिस्कोर्स में भी। तो पहले जो चाइना ने जो टर्मिनोलॉजी एक यूज़ डिफरेंट टर्मिनोलॉजीज़ यूज़ की अपनी डेवलपमेंट को, जो उन्होंने पिछले 30 साल में की, उसको एक्सप्रेस करने के लिए डिफरेंट टर्म्स यूज़ की, जिसमें सबसे पहले एक पीसफुल rise. China came up with the terminology of peaceful rise. So that word rise was very attracted, the sense of, or most of the countries around the world got very conscious about the development China was making. So Chinese government got very much conscious of the response which they got from the countries around the world, and they changed with the peaceful development. They exclude the word rise and they alternate that with the word development, because development word was not very aggressive in its intent. So this Chinese government has always been very conscious about this very element, that how the modesty can be achieved. So this can be taken as one of the examples to express this, to explain this, that how modesty has been repeatedly focused in the Chinese diplomatic discourse. Another example we can take is that it is by no means an easy job to ensure that 1.3 or 1.4 billion Chinese people live a happy life. So that statement made by the Chinese President Xi Jinping demonstrate that demonstrates the achievement made by the PRC, that in no way it is not an easy job to provide the best living facilities to 1.4 million people and provide them with good jobs. And recently, one of the provinces of China, they made a statement that there was not even a single person living under the poverty line in that province. I forgot the name of that province. So that shows that though they are Chinese, they are making great achievements both in domestic life and in the international sphere of politics, but they are not using very gigantic terminologies or high level words to express or to project their capabilities and achievements. Just to it can be taken in the context of one of the goals of, or one of the objectives of the Chinese foreign policy, as to be a low profile country and not to challenge the status quo or not to challenge the existing system. So the second distinct aspect of on record politeness strategy is to make promises. So, talking about what promise is in journal, like it is the use of words which commit the speaker to a certain action. And four rules have been given by John Searle governing promises regarding promises. So now we will talk about first we will talk about these four rules regarding promises, and then we will talk about we will take few examples from the speeches of Chinese President Xi Jinping to reflect the promises made in various areas. So first we can see that promising concerns only some future actions or circumstances. So promise is something which is made for the things about future, that relates to the future, not to the present and not to the past. And the second governing rule about promises is that the speaker must be the person making the promise. So the person who is speaking, he or she should make the promise rather than he or she should make a reference to another person while making promise. The third principle or the third rule is the promises may not relate to events that occur as a matter of course or that are inevitable. So the things which are inevitable to happen, the promises should not be made related to those matters. And the last one is the speaker making the promise intends to act in the interest of the listener and fully intends to keep the promise he or she makes. So the last principle is that the promise which is being made should serve the interest of the listener. So it should ensure that the interest of the party which is listening to that should be served, like those interests should be served, and the speaker should make promise, should fully intend or to keep that promise, to fulfill the promise made by the speakers. So these are the four basic rules which are related to making promises. And now we will talk about we will try to talk about the areas in which the promises have been made by Xi Jinping in his through his speeches. So the first area in which the China has emphasized to make promises is that the China's continued development will be peaceful. That the development path which China is seeking to achieve, it will be peaceful. It will not involve aggression or it will not involve conflict. So they are trying to pursue their path of development with the peaceful means. The second is that China will cooperate with other countries for their mutual benefit. So the China's collaboration will with the other countries will be based on mutual benefit rather than the zero sum game. And the third area is China will act responsibly as a member of the global community. So China will not just blindly seek for their own Western interest, rather China will be act responsibly as a major power of the international community of states. And that's one of the key principles of the Chinese foreign policy as well, that China has become, and it has become a part of the Chinese, we can say, the ideology that China is a responsible state. So in the speeches of the President Xi Jinping, he makes use of promises without the explicit use of the word promise. Instead, he makes utterances like the following: China will stay committed to, or we will continue to, and China is unswervingly committed to the path of peaceful development. So these are all the reference to the promises are not made utterly in the naked word of promise. Rather, alternative words has been, or phrases have been used to relate to the promises. With I just quote couple of examples of the promises made not directly through the word promise by Xi Jinping in his speeches. Okay, that's all about today's lecture. And in the or okay, I would like to briefly discuss about the other two factors. The next distinct form is the expression of concern. It demonstrates that another party has significance or has shown consideration to the speaker. So China's expression of concern centers around two issues mainly. The expression of concerns made by the Chinese president through its speeches, they are made around two issues, and these are the first one is that China expresses concerns for other countries in Asia and is eager to provide development assistance to the people of different nations across the continent. So through this concern, we can see that China places high value for the countries of Asia, and it is ready to provide assistance development to the people of different nations across the continent. And we can see that this whole Belt and Road Initiative, which is proposed to connect the world markets through Belt and Road, through roads and networks, and most of the CPEC is one of the examples that Pakistan, which is a long ally or a fast friend of China since their uh, both the states came into origin. So they have been so many other countries have been provided with development assistance, so that and that shows the China's expression of concerns for the countries of Asia. And another expression of concern made by the Chinese President Xi Jinping through his speeches, is that China will also not abandon its long-standing friends in Africa, whose voices it must not be forgotten. One for China, a seat in the United Nations. So another factor of the expression of concern made by China is the continent of Africa. These African countries, China cannot forget, and would always place a high value for them, because they are the ones, they are one of the factors that China got succeed to get the membership of the United Nations, or get a seat at the United Nations, because all these African states supported China's entry as a sovereign independent state into the United Nations. And we all know that before 1972, the ROC, Republic of China, which was established in Taiwan, nowadays Taiwan, got recognized by most of the world, in especially in the United Nations, as a sovereign independent state. So it was only after 1972 that the Republic, PRC, the People's Republic of China, which is the mainland China, got recognition as the sovereign independent state in the international community of states. So we can take another example here, as no matter how developed it may become, China will always see African countries as its tested friend. So this is one of the statement made by Chinese President Xi Jinping in its speeches, in its many speeches, and this shows that that shows the expression of concern made by the Chinese government towards its African friends. And finally, we will talk about the slogans. They are a form of advertising or advertisement used by a particular group to express the principles and or actions of an individual or group. So Chinese slogans are a very powerful tool for communicating in Chinese and for giving expression to the ideology of Chinese society. Chinese language is quite enriched and so because of that, and Chinese are very much used to use slogans or different, we can say one word or two word slogans to represent the key ideas propagated by the government in different spheres of life. So five type of slogans have been identified in Xi Jinping's speeches. So when we look at the speeches made by Xi Jinping, we can find the example of so many types of slogans. So the first one is the single syllable slogans, two syllable slogans, slogans consisting of an adjective and a noun, and slogans consisting of a verb and a noun, and slogans in the form of a sentence. So these are the different types of slogans which can be found in the speeches of the President Xi Jinping. So talking about the examples of slogans, for example, amity, sincerity, mutual benefit, and inclusiveness are some of the examples of slogan which has been repeatedly found or used by the Chinese leadership. So that's all about today's discussion, and if you have any queries, please write me through WhatsApp group, and I would be quite happy to address your queries. So wish you all the best, stay safe and healthy. See you next week for our upcoming lectures, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.